throw that on. I don't know why this does this every time. All right, so
Come in.
who wants to volunteer as our initial?
Somebody just joined.
Nice. Welcome.
Odyssey?
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Yeah. They lit up.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Very lonely.
Oh, okay, but you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm just
okay.
turning it up.
Yep, just turning. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
turning you
turning
up
you
to
up.
200.
Oh, no, that was just me speaking quietly. I was trying not to interrupt in case, uh, like I came in way too late. No, trust
No,
me.
no, you're good.
I'm really, really sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. Okay, all right. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Hi.
Hey, I was like,
Hello?
hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
I was gonna say, you might need to turn him up at least 100%.
I did. I went to 175. It seems to be working good.
I'm at 200.
I
Okay.
so deeply apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right.
No,
No,
you're
you're
good.
fine.
Yeah,
I
just
know you're having trouble with
yeah. If you want to give, just briefly introduce yourself. We'll kind of
and
go
the character you're
around.
playing.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go around one more, just like quick time.
Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Character wise, right?
Oh, yourself and then character.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can say as much or as little as you want, just what you want us to call you. If you want to leave it there, that's fine. You don't have to elaborate. Just whatever you're comfortable saying.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. All right. So, first off, hi. I'm Odyssey-san. I basically am just a streamer by nature, but I fucking love playing tabletop RPGs as well. So I love I, I love doing visual novels. I've loved doing like acting stuff ever since I was a kid, and ever since like along with a whole bunch of artistic stuff. So like this, I'm super happy. It's been a while, so I'm like, yeah. And I'm late and made a very bad first impression. I'm so sorry. So, um, and the character that I will be playing is need to go back because that was still a big ass name even for me. It is need to fix that. Okay, all right, is Uni Rosamund Dagosh of Fatal Shade, and I believe she's a fetchling. There we go. I believe she's a fetchling, and yeah, you'll notice with me really quick that some rules out of my head, some things fall out of my head, but I still know enough of the system to know what the hell I'm doing and know my best roles. None of which are fighting, a lot of which are debauchery and some weird ass shit. But you guys will come to know that as time goes on. But the important thing is that uh, she is a cleric on a mission for marriage with the devil, archdevil Belial, and she is absolutely about the idea of marrying him, and it's not. He's really not. As a matter of fact, he's made a terrible mistake, and is trying actually so hard to get away from her. Has told her that she has a quest that she needs to fulfill in order for them to get married, and she's absolutely down for it. She's a little bit like Wednesday Adams, and I borrowed a friend's picture slash avatar for the idea of her, but I will be changing it because the friend is also a streamer named Vorpaline BT. So yeah, like if she looks familiar, it's because she is a streamer. Her name's Vorpaline, and she's freaking awesome. So I highly recommend. Sorry to shill out at the same time, but yeah, like when I thought of Uni, I was like, this is it. This is the one.
All right, Dakota, do you want to do another quick introduction?
Sure. Character name is Dakota. I'm Allura on Discord, but you can call me either or. Dakota is a gunslinger. Um, looking to make a name for herself. And that sounds good, I think. I don't know.
All right, no, that's fine. Like I said,
Short and
Donovan.
sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh, my name's Bard. I'll be playing Donovan. Um, I he is a champion of a now dead god of war, who spent most of his life fighting, first protecting his village, and then joining the god of war's church, only for the god of war to die recently. And when he attempted to return to his village, when the god of war's church inevitably began to splinter, he found his village had been razed years prior. So now he's just kind of wandering and putting his skills to use, and just searching for a new purpose in life.
All right, Cardama.
This is Kodama. She was an orphan who had to make her own way, survive on her own, which led her to becoming a assassin and thief for hire. And she's pretty standoffish, hard to trust, and always wondering about where she came from and who she is.
All right, Luthias, aka Luke.
Yeah, I go by Luke, and my character is a funeral director turned adventurer slash hero. He was raised in his home above a funeral parlor, and his parents taught him, as he came of age, about respect for the dead and giving proper last rites. And during his time as a initiate to, being an undertaker or a funeral director, Lucius ran into an encounter with an undead ghoul, and it caused him to have this latent ability to come out within him. So he's a sorcerer with the undead bloodline. And anything else? Yeah, he's afraid of being buried alive accidentally, and also has a fear of vampires and spirits or ghosts. And yeah, that's it about me.
All right, and I'm your DM, Gil, or Malik, like my Twitch name is. I play everyone else, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail about everyone else. You'll meet them as we go. Alright, so recently all of you have received a strange missive, an invitation of sorts. Depending on your backstory, they are kind of personalized, so you have no reason really to suspect that it's not an official summons. Like for Uni, it's someone you've worked with closely before in the service of your god. So, the fact that this missive tells you that, you're to meet your contact in the middle of the forest and, the middle of the night isn't too strange. And that kind of goes for the rest of you as well. Whether it's, offers of a job or promises of riches and power, or in the case of Dakota, it looks to be a missive inviting her to meet her former mentor who she thought was dead.
Cool.
So yeah, all of you guys head out, and it's strange too because the location that it asks you guys all to meet at, it's actually fairly close to where your characters live, which, at least as of now, is in vastly different planes of existence for the most part. It should only be maybe like 20-30 minute walk from your house out of town to kind of reach this secluded spot in the forest where you're supposed to meet your contact. So all of you set out, shortly after sundown. Not really expecting much trouble. The area you're from is generally relatively safe at night, and you're all fairly confident in your martial and or, spell casting abilities. So yeah, you guys head out there, and as you go deeper into the forest, this thick kind of fog begins to roll in kind of behind you. And at first you don't really think too much of it. Fog may be strange depending on where you're from originally. But you've been around enough that you've at least seen, you know, fog to not be too freaked out by it. So you kind of continue down further into the forest along this conveniently placed stone path on a road that, well, you're not sure you've ever heard of before. At least not in the forest you're familiar with. But it seems to be going in the direction you're heading in, so you feel, content to follow it to your destination. As you get further down the road, though, it does start to become a little more concerning, though, as the mists around you begin to thicken more and more, and actually seem like they're kind of corralling you and like forcing you further down the road as they kind of are getting thicker behind you and even kind of pulling in from the outsides of the forest to kind of just make a corridor through this thick fog. Though you can still see the shapes of, trees and other stuff, but it's also eerily quiet. Forest at night usually has a decent amount of background noise, but in this case, the only thing you hear are your own footsteps on this cobblestone road. And let me find this here. So yeah, eventually the road begins to open up in the distance. The road itself at this point is also a little overgrown. Weeds and even the roots of these trees are kind of sticking up out of the ground, making kind of weird gnarled shapes through the mist. And it's around that time that a light drizzle begins to fall down. So, you speed up a little bit to maybe get to your destination quicker since you don't want to get drenched. And as you do, you finally come into a larger clearing where it looks like a number of roads all intersect. And it's at this point that all of you all see the same thing, though you're not coming from the same direction. But there is a figure in a black robe standing in the middle of the road. It has its hood up, so you can't really see its face. And what would you like to do? We'll just go down the list. Dakota, what are you doing when you see this figure?
Putting a hand on my pistol, I would hide sort of behind a tree and keep an eye on him.
Okay.
I can see the others?
You cannot. All you see right now is this figure in the
Okay.
road. Donovan, same thing for you. You're kind of coming up one of these paths. See this black cloaked figure in the road, which to you might not be, so strange. But
Yeah, I mean, there's still like, I mean, he's used to dealing with people in armor and stuff like that. So he like it, there's always the chance of it being a spellcaster, but he kind of slows his walk, though he doesn't. He keeps on approaching them, and it's like, oh, Connie calls out. It's like, were you sent by the one I'm supposed to meet with?
all right. So Donovan is approaching. Cardama, what are you doing?
Rodoma continues to approach carefully, keeping in mind where her blade is hidden, um, and is assessing her surroundings as she approaches.
All right. Luthias, what are you doing?
So with Aya's will, I'll put a hand, like my gloved hand, tightens around this small leather case that I have at my side. It's a bunch of embalming tools. And my breath gets shallow, and this, like a familiar sense of anxiety, curls up tight in my chest. And I look at this hooded figure and I think to myself, could this be a vampire? And it almost makes me have enough fear just to turn on my heel and head back to town. But part of me wants to stay, and so I force myself to have this like measured calmness, even though it's very clear I'm anxious. And I say, take a step forward. You summoned me. I am here. State your business.
All right. And Uni, what are you doing as you approach this hooded figure in the middle of the crossroads?
Okay, so Uni is going to be, oh, you look interesting. I like you. Basically, just kind of gets a little closer and just wants to see what's under the hood.
All right. So yeah, as those of you that were closing in, which I think is everyone with the exception of Dakota, who's being a bit more cautious, as you guys are all approaching, um, the figure's head kind of snaps up in your direction, and it stares at you with these piercing yellow eyes from beneath the cowl. And then you kind of watch as what you assume is this figure throwing its arms like up wide at its sides, but you realize that what you were seeing wasn't a cloak, but rather these large wings that spread out. And it just kind of in one powerful motion and with enough, like, lift in its ascent that it actually gives you a nice little blast of cool air. It just disappears into the night sky. And it's at that point that you guys notice each other coming down different roadways in this crossroad. The crossroad itself being kind of like, think of like a six spoke wheel that's all converging in the middle. And yeah, you guys all come into each other's view.
Out of character with the yellow eyes, I was gonna say, "Oh, look, it's a Sith," and then I was like, "Oh wait, it's got wings. Now it's a vampire Sith."
Indeed, it is. Why can't it
I
be
would have
both?
teased and said, Daddy Haster? Oh my gosh, it's you.
Uh,
Sorry.
but yeah, Donovan will kind of look, like kind of taken aback, and then he kind of looks at the others, and they're kind of coming into view. And he just his hands like kind of twitching, like reaching for his sword, but he's not pulling it quite yet, but he's also not calling out to the others quite yet. He's just kind of looking at everyone.
Yeah. Dakota draws her pistol, points it at the creature,
Oh, the creature's
waits.
already, yeah, disappeared. The only people standing at the
Oh,
crossroad now are the rest of your group that you don't know yet. Yeah, it kind of spread out some wings and just kind of disappeared into the night sky. Though, let me check something here. Looking at perceptions here. Alright, so Dakota. Even though you're further out, Dakota, Kardama and Uni, the three of you spot something kind of, it's not really, like, it's a shiny bit of something on the ground where this creature was standing.
I'll move closer.
Alright.
What's that on the ground? Anyone know?
So as Dakota kind of points you guys towards it, you actually see that there are 5 jet black feathers kind of arranged in a small half circle around a shiny piece of like black polished wood that anyone, I would assume anyone that's even trained in occultism would recognize as a planchette.
I might be.
You're not.
Oh, I keep
And
forgetting that Devil's
Definitely not me.
occult doesn't have it.
yeah, you're a cleric. You're divine, so you get religion.
Actually though, if you want, if you are trained in religion as well, I will also allow you to know what it is.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. Then
So
yeah,
yeah.
Donovan kind of slowly approaching. Uh, you said there was a six spoke wheel, yeah?
Yep. And each of you came down one of the spokes each,
Yeah.
of
He,
which there are five of you.
Donovan. Yeah, Donovan kind of pauses, like he's kind of approaching, but he's noticing that there's one path that doesn't have anyone coming down it, and he kind of like he looks at the feathers and the planchette, but also kind of looks down the path that no one's on, come down on at least.
So the path that no one has come down is actually the only one that's still kind of parted from this thick fog that has come in. The paths all of you came in on, by the time you guys kind of think to look back the way you came, it's kind of just filled in, and you can still see, you know, the start of the road leading into the mist itself, but you can no longer even see the trees you just passed a few seconds ago to kind of get into the middle of this clearing.
At this point, Cardama has drawn her blade, holding it to her side as she carefully assesses those around her and looks curiously at the uh, display on the ground.
Anyone else doing anything?
Can I? Do I even need a roll to investigate to check what they are?
As far as you can tell, even without a roll, the feathers just appear to be feathers, likely from whatever kind of creature this was. And I assume you're trained in religion, so you would recognize the planchette at least as being something that's used um, to basically use a Ouija or a spirit board that's used in contacting spirits.
Okay.
In case anyone wasn't
Uni.
familiar with it.
Okay. Uni will actually approach the planchette, and say, "I think we need to say hello, and then see what is through the planchette." So she's gonna approach it in the feathers.
All right. So yeah,
Dakota will still be
Dakota will still what?
stay back.
Okay. So yeah, as those of you that get closer to it, nothing really happens. It's just kind of sitting there on the ground with these feathers. Each of the feathers were pointing in the various directions you guys came in. One feather each. One feather was kind of pointed in the direction that Donovan came down. Dakota, Uni, etc.
Can we tell if they're different? Or are they all the same?
As far as you can tell, they are all the same.
So, can I use like recall knowledge with occultism I'm trained in to see if we can get any more information from anything I might have known or I might truly know about this planchette and Ouija board?
Sure.
So Uni has picked up
Can
the
you fly?
planchette at this time.
Yep. And nothing
Okay.
nothing bad happens when you pick it up. It looks like, you know, it's pretty nice. Whoever carved this particular one did a wonderful job. Um, what it's doing here in the middle of the road, you weren't really sure. Not as useful as it could be without the spirit board itself, but you know, was here for a reason. So, and Luke, I mean, you've seen spirit boards before, especially probably because of your line of work, but nothing about this other than the owner of this obviously invested a great deal more money into it than, like the common folk might have. Kind of speaks to the quality of it.
Hmm. Hmm. Donovan will kind of move up as the two of them are kind of inspecting the planchette, and he'll kind of pick up one of the feathers, specifically the one that was pointed towards the path he comes from. Looking back at uh, where he came from, and then looking at the one path uh, that's still kind of clear. He was like, "Well, whatever wants us here, certainly has uh, certainly has a interest in having us go down a specific path." He kind of looks to the others, is like, and then back towards the path, is like, I for one think that we should inspect it, but I will not force any of you to follow me.
You have my bow, and I brandish my one-handed small hand crossbow.
Are we doing War of the Rings here? You have my gun.
There you go. So as you guys are kind of, looking down the path and picking stuff up, there was a light rain falling already, but the rain actually begins to start to come down with a bit more ferocity.
Intensity?
Or that. It's a very angry rain.
And just, with my guy wearing like full armor, he's just like, you could just feel like the ding, 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 like of just rain hitting the armor. And he kind of rolls his shoulders, is like, and it'd also be nice to get out of this rain. kind of, kind of starts trudging his way towards and down the path that's been left open.
Alright, so yeah, you guys, I assume collectively as a group, are going to start going down this path, even if not, super close to each other, because I'm sure some of you are still feeling like, I don't know if I can trust you, but you'll head down the final path of this road.
Can I cast armor on myself real quick?
You may.
While it's going on, Uni's just like, I'm so happy to be here. It's such beautiful weather.
Herdama pulls up her hood over her face even more and just gives a nod of agreement to follow.
Alright, so yeah, you guys will go down this road, and you do notice that the ground had been relatively even during your trip to the crossroad itself, and even when you guys first veer off onto the final path, it was mostly even, but it does start to go up at a very subtle incline that slowly starts to kind of ramp up more and more. And the trees that you were seeing previously, kind of through the fog on either side of the road, finally start to break away, and just rather than trees, you start seeing just kind of, bushes, brush, stuff of that nature, but no more trees. But you do spy up on this kind of like balding hilltop, there is this what seems to be a giant black tower of some kind. Um, Even from here, you can kind of tell that this tower's seen better days. Part of the roof looks like it's kind of caved in on one side. But attached to the tower seems to be a 3-story manor house, which is also showing a little bit of damage. even through the darkness, but seems to be in better shape than the tower. The interesting part, though, is that up on the porch of the house, you can actually see a little bit of light coming from what looks like an open front door.
So
Donovan kind of.
we're all like assuming we're from here, out of character. So it'd be very shocking to me just see this thing that I've never heard about in so close proximity to home.
That is correct. As far as all of you know, the path that you've been on, this crossroads, this house, it's not on any map you've ever seen for the area in which you live.
Yeah. Like Donovan kind of raises an eyebrow. It's like under his helmet. It's like, oh, this seems very out of place. And he kind of vocalizes that, like, yeah, this is not normal.
This is a sign from my love. Uni's gonna pocket the planchette.
All right.
It looks like we have an invitation with the door open.
Agreed.
Shall we go in?
Oh, like, better than standing out here in the rain.
All right. So yeah, as you guys head up the hill, you actually spy some people on the porch that are carrying in what look to be like crates of some kind. And I'm going to move you guys over to this map.
They're carrying what?
Crates. What's in the crates? You aren't sure, but let me get all you guys.
Like coffin shaped?
Oh no.
No, not coffin shaped.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. I could be wrong though. Wait, no, I actually can't be.
I've seen many coffins in my time. Those are coffins for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna move
I'll
you
trust that guy.
guys over here. And yeah, as you trudge up the hill, towards this porch where you see the light, and these doors should actually be open over here, but you'll see it soon. You do spy a pair of figures on the porch, one male and one female. They were currently talking about something. The woman was in the process of saying, "Look, we'll just finish the job and get out of here." As you guys approach, at which point he kind of like nods in your direction, and she kind of turns to face you guys, and she's like, "Oh, and what do we have here then? Bit late for visitors, but..." She kind of looks you guys over for a moment, and then kind of clears her throat and says, "But the mists will do as they will, and I suspect a lot of you aren't from around here." They kind of motion you guys up onto the porch, which is covered, and out of the rain.
And Donovan will at least get up out of the rain. Kind of just trudging up onto the porch, and he kind of raises an eyebrow. It's like, you seem to have a fairly good idea of where here is.
Oh yes, but before I answer that, where are you from?
He kind of raises an eyebrow. It's like, do you mean city? Do you mean country?
Oh, city, country. I have a bit of a list. I'm just curious if I can add a new location to it.
One moment. The pull up a map of the place I'm actually from. Come on, work with me. I'm from Andoran, of the continent of Avestan. If that means anything to you.
And she looks at the gentleman behind her who's currently like shuffling some cards in his hand, and he just kind of shakes his head no. She says, "Nope, can't say I've heard of that." So yeah, I guess that's a new one, and I'll go ahead and show them. That's the woman on the porch.
Dakota steps forward. I'm from Alkenstar. Have you heard of that?
Can't say I have. Yeah, once again, she
That
looks
does
to the guy again, who also just kind of shakes his head.
that does get Donovan's attention. He does seem to recognize that.
I'll take a step up and pull out a business card from the inner pocket of my coat.
Of
So
course.
surely you've heard of Ravnica, the city of Duskmantle.
Surely.
Hold on. And she actually pulls a journal out of one of the crates that they currently have stacked up against the wall here. And she says, "Hey, that one I have heard of before. Just in passing, though. I've never met anyone from there." Interesting.
Can I use diplomacy to try to make an impression? Like, give her good vibes, basically?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a secret check.
Um,
I can't
I have it set already. If it comes up secret, then it was meant to be. I think diplomacy.
Even open the sheet?
It shouldn't have to. I have a mod that forces what I want to be private anyway. I think that's one of the ones that it doesn't matter on though.
Oh, there's my 3.
Yeah. So she doesn't really. Her demeanor doesn't change much. She's kind of just like looking at the card, confused. She basically will take the card though and kind of slip it into the journal near the entry that you assume she just read about the thing. And it's a fairly sizable, little journal she has that it's presumably full of locations she's heard of. And she's all, "And what about the rest of you? You all came together, but it seems like you didn't come together."
We just met on the road. That. Anyway, she immediately holds up the planchette and she's like, this I believe was a sign from my love. Now, do you have the Ouija board to go with it?
I thought it was strange that there is a spirit board inside the parlor of the house that didn't have a planchette. We looked everywhere for it. Where did you guys find it?
The others.
Well, as I said before, the mists will do what the mists wish. Please come up, though. Wouldn't want to leave you guys out in the rain. She'll kind of motion you guys up onto the porch, and then the pair of them will actually head towards the open doors, taking the last of the crates they were carrying. And yeah, Kardama, if you grab your little token there, you should be able to you can either left click it once and then use the arrow keys to move it, or you can just kind of drag it to where you want to go. You do have to watch out for walls though, because this is like some railing here. It might not let you pull right around the corner, but you can do it, Kardama. I believe in you. Baby steps. Just go to here.
Oh.
There you go.
That really felt like a clippable moment. She's across the threshold and the music.
And you can't see this. I'm like, oh, okay. Cardama kind of sticks to the back of the pack, mostly observing, still very cautious of these people.
So yeah, the pair of them will lead you through the foyer. Um, Looks like this was probably a super nice estate mansion at one point, though at this point, the wallpaper's all kind of like peeling off, and there's this kind of thick, musty scent that's just clinging and kind of coming off these walls. Um, this really fancy curved staircase here that looks like it leads up to a balconied floor above the room you're in. Doors in every direction, and then there is this large bronze sculpture of some sort of weird antlered eagle that's perching atop a marble pedestal. Um,
Cultism again.
sure.
I'll do a religion check, but I'm struggling with my map. Oh God.
But yeah, you gotta watch out for the walls, so you gotta like drag it over in front of the doors and then in.
Yeah.
No. Like, oh God.
Actually, I need whatever you do, don't step on this square yet either. That'll take you to the other map.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Religion.
Yeah, go ahead. You can do a religion check to try to identify whatever's in this thing.
Poorly.
Yeah, Una, you aren't really sure, but and Luthias, like you kind of surprise yourself, but you're like, oh, it's a Periton, just like completely nonchalant, offhandedly, like this is common knowledge everyone should know. And the woman in question will actually turn to you and nod, and she says, "Oh, very good. I think you might have actually made an impression." And yeah, they will head back into.
Kind of raise my nose up a little bit, like impressed with myself.
Sometimes I
I
even
have no idea what a Periton is.
sometimes I even amaze myself. Let me go ahead and throw this here for now. Can always remove it later. Yeah, they will lead you into this other room that has has a nice little fireplace going, along with some other stacks of boxes and books, and other just kind of basic survival equipment. And sure enough, when you go in there, you find the matching spirit board on the table.
Uni gets so excited. He's like, oh, it's there.
What did we ask it?
So,
Well, first we need to say hello.
well, I suppose we should. You guys are obviously meant to be here. We actually came here. I was hired by a third party in Borca who wishes to see this house cleansed of any evil or, spirits, that sort of thing. Bit of a hobby of mine. Oh, well, I mean, there could be the spirits of children. I'm not sure.
No worries. We'll kill them for you.
Right. Okay. She kind of like looks at the rest of you, then looks back at her like, is she with you?
Donovan just kind of is kind
Yes.
of side eyeing, but he's like he's just like still in armor, like he's hasn't quite relaxed. He hasn't taken his helmet off. But he's just kind of regarding everyone still.
Yeah, so yeah, you will she says we were actually we were about to have a séance to try to consult with the spirits of this house and see what we might do to release them. And I suppose perhaps those are even the same spirits that brought you here. It wouldn't be the first time. says, please, come
Donovan
in.
kind of
Gather round.
Donovan kind of looks to Esmeralda and is like, "How many times has it happened?"
Oh, more than half a dozen, but less than an actual dozen. Oh yeah, and they'll introduce themselves. She'll introduce herself as Esmeralda, and the guy there will just say Tristan and just kind of go back to playing with the card deck that he just keeps kind of shuffling and sleight of handing cards around.
Dakota will stay in the corner and see if they complain about that. I think Cardama's having problems with her token.
It's all right. We got you in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes
let me move
the
in.
easiest way is just if you left click on your token, you can use the arrow keys like you're moving in a game.
Oh, okay.
Like that's easier for some people because
Oh, sure.
sometimes.
Now you tell us.
Well, no, because yeah, sometimes dragging the token, you get stuck on like this door, for example.
That's where I was stuck.
Yeah. So sometimes, and also because all of the rooms do have walls, so sometimes arrow keys are just easier because you want to drag into the room everyone's in, but it won't let you drag there. Yeah. So those of you that sit down will kind of sit around this table, and they'll kind of push the spirit board into the middle of the thing, and kind of, Esmeralda will look to Dakota and Cardama like, please join us. I'm sure you have questions you'd like answered.
Cardama lowers her hood and she does not approach them. She just shakes her head no and moves to the opposite corner of Dakota.
All right. It's all right. Well, I think there's enough of us. We can at least get some answers, I hope. And, she motions at the
Dakota will
board.
stay where she's at.
Yeah. For Uni to put down the planchette. And then she kind of holds out her hands to both sides, offering one to Tristan, who takes it, and offering one to Luthius. Tristan likewise will offer his hand to Uni.
She gingerly takes it. Ooh, like those sands! And reaches out for Donovan's hand. You too, you too.
Donovan will kind of realize at that moment what he signed up for by sitting here, and very reluctantly takes Uni's hand and offers his hand to Luthius.
So yeah, as everyone kind of joins hands, Esmeralda will kind of close her eyes and just kind of like looks, not like she's looking at the ceiling, but just kind of like looking up at a diagonal angle, kind of almost up over the heads of Donovan and Uni, and she says, "O great spirits of this house, we are strangers who come openly and without malice. We seek only to know your stories and to help you find peace. We entreat you, make your presence known."
Donovan's just kind of quiet, just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, and after it does, at first you're kind of like, well, that was anticlimactic.
I almost wanted to say something like Mary from the Fellowship. Nothing's happening.
But as you guys are sitting there, she kind of releases the hands, and you notice that the fireplace dims briefly. Like, you can still see the fire on, and it's well fed. Should be burning fairly bright, but the entire room does go dark. And this kind of unnatural chill fills the room, actually, causing probably some of you to actually let out a little shiver. And she says, "Yes, the spirits are here, please." And she reaches out, like you do, to put your two fingers of each hand on the planchette and kind of motions for the rest of you to do the same.
Uni immediately does it.
And Donovan kind of looks towards the fire that's kind of dimmed and will reluctantly do so as well.
Yeah, and it happens actually really quickly once all of you put your hands on the planchette. And, you're all probably doing what everyone does. Like, obviously, someone else is moving this thing, right? I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'm not doing it. My,
Oh,
my, my cursor's over here.
Yeah.
Don't creep me out.
And
Like
did it,
sucks. I couldn't take. I couldn't see what that said.
it said
My bad.
Greetings.
greetings.
Greetings. Oh, okay, all right. So that's out of character. In characters. Greetings.
Donovan looks over at Uni and is like, well, apparently it likes you saying hello.
Yep. And then
Polite.
that is true. And then Esmeralda will kind of speak up again, and she says, "May we ask to whom we are speaking with?" And yeah, let me set my little macro here. Oh wait, we get to roll a die here. Let's see what happens. Nice. Let me add a slightly longer delay so you guys can hopefully read it a bit better this time.
the
Theodora?
Adora.
Oh my god.
Theodora?
Correct.
Okay.
I read it as the Adora.
That's what I read it as.
So and then she'll basically go on to ask, Theodora, how might we help you? How might we assist in you moving on from this place? And this is going to be a longer one. So if you guys don't catch it, let's make the delay.
I'm ready.
Let's turn the animation off. Oh wait, actually let's do this. Let's just add another 0 to that macro. And she is going to say, let's see if this is the right speed. Oh no, it's too slow. All right, it's way too slow. Hold on. We're gonna reset that one. Let's try this. Ooh, look at the puff. Yeah, I think that's a good speed. Oh no, it's going crazy. Oh no, it's playing both macros at once. We're just gonna let that one ride through. Basically, it is going to say, seek the witch stone.
Close.
And kind of watches it and is like, okay, but which stone are we looking for?
Nice.
If you are trained in occultism, which I assume is probably just going to be loot, go ahead and give me a recall knowledge check. So, Luke, you are fairly certain that when it says witch stone, it's not saying like the witch stone, but that it is referring to a specific stone. And it's like
Called the Witch Stone.
called the witch stone, yes. And it's like right there in your mind, but you can't seem to pull the answer out.
Can I use a hero point?
You can if you'd like, yeah.
Fuck it, let's go.
Or is it pure cultism on that?
Say again?
For the witch stone.
Yeah, probably mostly going to be occultism.
Got it.
Sadly, not much better. Is
I'm glad I
any
used it though.
yeah, is anyone else trained in occultism, or just want to YOLO roll it and see?
Do it.
Recall knowledge untrained.
Was that high enough to know?
It is. So Uni, you would know that there is a stone that was used in construction of, kind of old timey houses, though in this case, kind of game timey houses. It's a
Mm-hmm.
specific stone built into basically the top of a chimney stack. Likely the main chimney of the fireplaces in this house. So it would probably be on the roof somewhere. And it's basically a large kind of flat stone that juts out from the chimney, kind of making like a little alcove. Um, and the belief, at least in folklore, is that these small ledges were built into the houses to give witches that were flying overhead a place to sit. As kind of like a sign of, please don't do horrible things. So,
Okay. Okay. All right. I see how do I want to relay that? Okay, so basically, it's like saying it's a safe or something.
so think of like a chimney for a fireplace, right? That's coming out of the roof of the house.
Mm.
In fact, we can like kind of my drawing skills suck, but we're gonna draw something here. So like this is the chimney coming up out of the house, right? So what a witch
Mm.
stone is it's like an extra stone that's intentionally built out a little further because it's believed in folklore that it's the places where a witch would come by and would stop to, it gave them like a resting spot. Kind of like as a gesture of, goodwill so that they would, not have a reason to do malicious things potentially. And also, it's a place where sometimes offerings were left underneath.
Okay. Okay.
So,
All right. Uni will relay that. Oh, witching stone. Okay. All right. So it's like this thing. It's kind of like a little platform that lets you know that it's a good place to just rest for a minute. And they also leave little cookies, and it's so that the witches don't do bad things and stuff like that. We need to find that. She looks over at Esmeralda.
yep. And Esmeralda will kind of nod. She's like, she's right. Um, I wouldn't suggest trying to go up there tonight. The storm seems pretty bad, but perhaps in the morning. Do you guys have any other questions you want to ask? In fact, Theodora, are you responsible for them coming here? Did you have anything to do with this? Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Um, Still though,
Yeah.
do you have
Mhm.
anything you guys wish to ask the spirit while we have them here?
You die.
Second?
So Uni asks, "How did you die?"
Well, that got dark quickly.
Oh, it's a shame. That's
You
that's
had
a
to
big
ask.
question.
Do you have the name of who did summon us here?
Let's turn off sound. I don't like the weird brown.
Oh, I was
It's
getting used
creepy,
to
though.
it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's gonna give me nightmares.
Can you tell us of any threats we should prepare for before we go retrieve this witch stone?
All right, you asked for the sound again. I hate that it doesn't line up as well as it used to.
The house?
The house?
And then
The
as
whole
you
house is a threat?
The house we're in?
and then as you ask the question,
Oh, that's lovely.
Let's see. Who murdered you?
no
Yeah, we asked that already, and she said she.
No, we asked how did you die.
Yeah.
So this is we're asking who murdered.
That question does not get a response.
Oh. Then she's gonna ask, was it someone in this room?
It's basically just gonna respond that the spirit doesn't know who murdered it,
Oh, okay.
since it's getting a little. It used to work really well, but I think the new version of Foundry is kind of. It probably needs to be recoded.
It's still pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, I like the effect.
Uh. Hmm.
I like that it's the Ouija pointer talking. Do you know who summoned us?
Right. Oh yeah, I was because someone in chat was saying we should.
Oh no,
mark,
I know.
like,
It's
the
just that
question.
whoever was
Yeah.
answering was also clicked on it, so that it was coming from that as the token.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't. That was
No,
my
no,
bad.
it worked good. It actually worked good, so we know exactly, what's saying it.
Fair. Do you know what in the house we should watch out for?
He's gonna say the house again.
It's not going to say the house again. It is going to say with no sound and animation.
Oh Jesus.
Everything.
everything. It was good.
Donovan kind of just stares for a moment.
And you hear
Oh,
Esmeralda kind of talking to Tristan, and she says, "Yeah, that's par for the course in a haunted house."
Donovan kind of looks
Haunted
over.
house?
Well,
Yay.
demon. Well, I don't think it's demons. A spirit infested house.
Donovan kind of looks over. It's like, I would assume by the answers that even sleeping on the porch is not a safe option.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend sleeping out there. There's all sorts of spiders and worms, and there's all sorts of nasty things out there. And that's not even to speak of the wolves and. Well, someone was even saying there were werewolves up here, but I've not seen any yet. Did you see any, Tristan? And he just says no.
Are you just hitting all the fears? Aren't you? Yeah.
Don't need to. You guys set that up for yourselves. Thank you.
You're
Yudi's
welcome.
gonna, yeah, Yudi's gonna ask, are there butterflies as well? Are there?
I can't actually think of the last time I saw a butterfly.
Ooh, okay, good.
What about moths? Plenty of moths around.
Well, well, I mean, they're okay. They're fuzzy. I like them. I like moths. I don't like butterflies. Cheery little bastards.
Any other questions? Maybe from our people not sitting at the table, who are too broody and too edgy to join in. I can respect it.
Hey, don't mess with my mojo.
No, I mean that's my character. I'm gonna brood so hard.
Exactly.
And it's around this point
From
that
white spiders.
any other questions that are kind of asked don't really get a response until eventually the planchette moves down to the goodbye, and slowly the kind of chill that had filled the room, as well as the fireplace, kind of spring back to life.
Uni immediately says, "Goodbye, friend." Everyone say goodbye.
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 Dakota grunts.
Cardama just looks at you, is it Yuri? With
Uni.
a strange, yeah, he looks at her with a strange look and just shakes her head.
It's good.
So, well, that was...
Mm.
We learned something. Don't know how useful it was, but... something.
Hey.
Theodora,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was asking if she knew who Theodora is.
Um, let's see if she does. Let's have her do a roll here. I'm gonna be a society roll. It's probably... She just kind of shrugs. Not really sure. One of the previous owners, maybe.
Why the coffins on the porch?
Coffin?
Sorry, crates, and I put up the quote sign.
So there is a graveyard in the back, but...
Maybe
Well-
we could investigate the graveyard.
Oh, I mean, if you really want to, I suppose you guys could go out there. I suspect there's enough spirits in here to not need to bother, but... I mean, if that's what you want to do...
Is it not still raining very heavily?
Do you hear rain?
Yes.
I do.
There's your answer. You also hear...
Donovan.
As well as the
Donovan comes-
occasional.
uh,
Now you're just messing with it.
Donovan kind of looks over as like, I'm fine with waiting on the graveyard until the rain stops. I do not fancy
Indeed.
becoming a lightning attractor this evening.
I agree.
This might be
I think
Where we
hasty.
sleeping?
rain is bad.
Well, why not just go to upstairs and see if we could find an umbrella and go out to the roof and get this witch stone?
You want to go on the roof with an umbrella with lightning and thunder. You want to rethink their partner?
Yeah, even Uni's like, yeah, I'm putting chainmail. I don't think that's a good combination, unfortunately.
It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Many
Lightning?
things.
I mean, I once saw a bald man get struck by lightning, but he lived afterwards. I think there was something wrong with him.
Donovan.
think you're-
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think Cardama's right. Like, waiting until the rain stops is very wise.
Yeah. Donovan kind of nods, like, I say we do a sweep of the house and see what we can find, and then either once the rain clears or sometime in the morning when there's more light, we can see about heading to the roof.
All right, so yeah, as you guys are sitting there, the gentleman sitting at the table kind of gives the cards another shuffle, and then takes the top one off and throws it onto the Taroka deck, or onto the spirit board.
I wait with bated breath.
And he kind of motions for you guys.
You know, Donovan will. Is the card face up or face down?
It is face down.
Donovan looks to Uni because she's definitely been we're very excited about this stuff to see if she picks it up, but if she doesn't, he will.
So yeah, he'll and he says it like almost too calmly, like again, just completely nonchalant, like that's your fate if you leave the house tonight. And when you flip the card over,
Well, F.
says perhaps it's best to stay in tonight.
Perhaps.
So check out the house.
Probably.
Who drew the card?
So Tristan drew the card, and either you would have picked it up and look at it because you were closest and you like that stuff, or Donovan would.
So who picked it up?
It was either Donovan or Uni. It's kind of up to them.
Oh, okay. Did you want to pick it up? Because if you don't, I will.
No, Donovan is going to let Uni have first grabs at it because this is more her jam. It's only if she doesn't go for it that he does.
Oh, okay, all right. Uni definitely goes for it. And gets the death card.
Yep.
Ooh, this is a good sign.
And Esmeralda will kind of be like, well, we were planning to take a look around tomorrow when the sun's back out, but if you guys want to take a look around the ground floor tonight before bed, that would be good. It is a big house. Maybe just keep your search down here tonight, and then tomorrow we'll see about the witch stone on the roof. Hopefully when the rain stops, I don't fancy falling 3 stories off some mossy stones in a rainstorm.
That would be unpleasant.
No problem. I will cure you with my hands.
Kill you? Or cure? Cure.
Cure.
Okay.
Did it sound like I was starting her? I'm so sorry.
It sounded like you said kill.
It's a cure. Cure. I'm a curer, not a killer. I mean, I can be a killer. But only in certain circumstances. Especially with children.
That's ambiguous too. Like, are you saying you would kill the children or heal the children?
she looks from side to side and just says, yes.
Yeah, that's not a good answer.
Yeah, Schrodinger's killer. Uh, Donovan just kind of looks at everyone and kind of nods. Is like, all right, well, we should get this over with so that we can get some rest. Kind of looks back at the door they came from, and then the door that Dakota's in front of, and then the door that Kardama's in front of. I was like, where shall we begin?
I think we should sit together. In the beginning, at least.
Esmeralda's
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
agree.
that's probably a good idea. Whereas Tristan, being much less, you get what I'm saying, will be like, oh no, you should all definitely run off into different rooms. Alone.
I know how much DMs hate that. Because I hate that.
Yeah, splitting the
Uh,
party at level 1 is probably a double bad idea, but
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
look, Luke got
I
us
have
a
15 hit
Witchstone
points.
picture in
Yeah.
the Discord.
It's a very
And-
cool Witch's Stone.
And let us know he has 15 hit points.
But yeah, so it was less let's split the party and more of a okay, which room do we tackle first sort of thing.
The kitchen. Maybe there's some tea left behind.
Donovan looks over as like kind of raises an eyebrow, then looks at Esmeralda as like that's not a bad place to start. Do you know which room is which way leads to the kitchen?
She says, oh, if you go out that door and across the hall is the dining room, and I think the kitchen will be to your left in the hallway, or I think it might even connect to the dining room.
Hmm. Well, then I suppose we have a door. And he kind of just tromps on over, kind of looks to Kardama and is like, kind of just a polite, scooting by sort of gesture. And then kind of looks back to make sure everyone else is kind of forming up, and then opens the door.
All right, yeah, and so it basically opens up into a long hallway, kind of just littered with what used to be paintings. It looks like kind of the frames, though most of the paintings themselves have kind of rotted away, but you can still see some of the frames and whatnot on the ground there. More kind of just weird, bulging, sagging wallpaper. That's also peeling, kind of just, the one room you guys were in, the parlor room, from what you've seen thus far, is the only room, I mean, not that you've seen many rooms, that still looks habitable. This hallway's definitely not. Also, as you go into that room, if it isn't obvious, it's basically nearly pitch black in that room if you don't have low light vision or dark vision. Though I think most of you do.
I do not.
Oh. Yeah, it should be pretty dark in there.
I think
I'm just human.
How dare you
You're
just
only
be human?
after all.
Like, I
Yes,
think
you
there's
do
still
have
a little
dark
bit of
vision.
light there, so,
Yeah.
There's
But,
a wall.
Actually need to move that over a little bit. There we go.
Typical.
Since it's
I
actually...
see.
I light the torch.
Alright, light a torch. Oh, you did already. You're good. Alright, giving you guys a little bit of light there. In this lovely
Okay.
hallway here.
Yes, Uni has dark vision. Okay.
Alright.
So,
And
Kardama,
You
do you
will
want to
look-
breach this door? Run up, kick it open, do a commando roll inside.
Yes, Kardama notices a door and
Alright, yeah, go ahead and left click on it. That door will pop open for you.
okay, got it.
So yeah,
Kicks
it
open the door
opens
and-
up into the dining room. Chairs and candelabra kind of covered in dusty sheets. lining this really large, fancy, and obviously neglected table that's in the middle of the room. There are a number of still life paintings on the wall um, that are kind of depicting this grand feast. And it's a little weird because the way that the paint has kind of faded on these large paintings kind of make it look like that the feast on the table in the paintings is kind of like rotten, which is kind of strangely appropriate.
Right.
Oh, looks so cozy in here.
Donovan will kind of look around, like he's got his like hand on the hilt of his sword as he's moving around, but hasn't drawn it fully yet. But he kind of looks around, assessing for any threat. But when he doesn't see anything immediate, he will kind of follow Esmeralda's directions and kind of head to the left of the room and kind of, you know, come up to the door, pause, look back to make sure anything hasn't, you know, animated itself, and then opens the door to the kitchen.
All right, so yeah, you open the door there, and it does lead to what at one point was a kitchen. It looks like at one point there was kind of a suspended rack that was hanging from the ceiling that likely had a lot of the kitchen tools and other stuff put into it. Though it looks like it came down at some point and just kind of smashed a lot of the other stuff um, in here. And then in the northern wall here, you have this large kind of stone and iron stove that's built into the wall there. And then, a bunch more doors, including this door here that has a small window in it that you can see the outside from. And the door itself doesn't show up, but basically you just kind of see the porch. Um, though, if Luthias did look there, you would notice that the mists that kind of followed you guys here have crept in really close and have basically kind of crept right up to the railing outside and are just lingering there, but haven't come any closer.
Quite foggy tonight.
Donovan nods, is like, that that woman Esmeralda mentioned that the mists do what they want. And it's like, so I would imagine that, given everything that I've seen so far, that it's not exactly safe to go out in them tonight. Kind of mutters to himself, but also Luthien, and then kind of looks back and kind of notices that Uni hasn't followed quite yet. So he will kind of call out, it's like, it unfortunately does not look like there's any tea left over in here.
Lad, I'll be right back. I forgot the planchette. I need to get it. Goodbye. So Uni goes back to the room to go grab the planchette. Does anything happen?
Nothing happens.
Okay. I'm taking this back
Did
for
we
me.
understand what she said?
Bye-bye.
She's going back for the planchette.
Comes back.
That
Nothing
makes
happened?
sense.
Nope.
Okay. Comes back. There's no tea?
There is no tea. At least he kind of looks around at the mess of ruins of the kitchen. I was like, nothing that is obvious and would be classified in the conventional sense as tea.
Damn. There has to be tea somewhere. She starts like scurrying around and trying to see if she can find something.
You do find, some really, really rotten foodstuffs. And by really, really rotten, I mean that all that you kind of find at this point is a pile of dust that likely at one point was organic matter of some kind. But no,
Cardama looks
no tea, no nothing like that. Though there is a teapot on the ground, kind of like a copper kettle, kind of laying on the side of the stove there.
She goes over to it, dusts it off, and is it too heavy?
No, it's pretty light.
She holds onto the teapot.
It looks like it might
Once we
make,
find
you
some,
know, like 4, 5, 6 cups of tea when filled.
excellent. Once we get some fresh water, I get us some tea. I will make some. Somehow.
Donovan kind of notices this and nods. But he's like, okay, kind of done a sweep. There's nothing here, so this is the closest door. So he kind of moves over to it and then very cautiously opens it.
You find some stairs that descend down into darkness before disappearing around a corner.
Donovan will nod, kind of look, and then he'll shut the door. He'll be like, it's like, if we are to stay on the ground floor tonight, then that will be for another time. 'Cause that seems to be going into some sort of basement. And, he doesn't like the look of it, so he just kind of moves to the next door and opens it.
That is the remains of a pantry. Again, kind of just in a similar state of, wreckage, basically.
He nods, he like kind of opens both doors, and it's like, and he nods, and it's like, oh, interesting, but nothing. He kind of looks it over, but kind of notices, kind of, as mentioned, that nothing really useful left over. So he's like, oh, seems we've at least cleared a couple of rooms. And he kind of opens the door. He's like, and this one leads back into the hall. So I think we can consider this area at least cleared of any potential influence. Kind of looks back to the others. Shall we continue?
I agree. Yes, let's.
All right. We kind of just step out. Notices the door kind of right there, and will cautiously open it.
That looks like the room where probably all of the plates and other things were stored. Given that there are these large kind of cabinets that are filled with broken dishes and silverware, cups, things like that.
He nods like, well, everything's. He kind of frowns like everything kind of looks as you would expect an abandoned manor would be, but he kind of he looks like he's about to say something, stops himself, and he just nods. It's like, and so now we move on to the next room.
Yep.
And he just kind of follows the wall around, kind of looks to Kardama, and kind of just and Luthien, and then opens these doors.
Yep. So as you guys are leaving, especially you, Dakota, as you're the last one out of that room, you kind of turn to give the room like one final glance over, and sitting on the edge of the stove there is a small, what seems to be cupcake.
Eat the cupcake.
Looks pretty fresh.
Nice.
Unlike everything else in here, which is rotten beyond recognition.
Okay. I have to ask. Is it a big cupcake? Is it big enough to split between the party?
Potentially, yeah. I think Dakota might be muted, though.
Oh no.
It's not like a full-on cake,
So-
but it is a fairly substantial sized cupcake. Yeah, like you could
Like
probably
a
each get like,
Costco muffin.
yeah, pretty close. In fact, let's go with it's a
I'll
muffin,
call
not
out.
a cupcake.
Yeah, never
Lemon
mind.
cupcake's
Some
better.
sort of fruit muffin, perhaps.
Oh, cheddar muffin. Cheddar muffin.
An orange cranberry muffin, no less.
Mm.
Delicious.
Yeah, I suppose. I'll yell out to the others. Hey, was this here before?
No.
And yeah, most of you guys looked around the room. Even you, Dakota, you're like, I would have noticed this, but
Yeah.
there was nothing. I looked back, but
He grabbed a teapot from there. There was no cupcake. Or muffin.
it's a cuffin.
It's a bald freaking cupcake. No.
A
A
coffin.
muffin with
It's a coffin.
frosting on it.
A cupcake
Yeah,
muffin.
coffin,
A
yeah.
coffin. It's in the shape of
coffin?
it's in the shape of a coffin too.
Oh.
Actually, that's a good idea for Halloween. Making coffin.
Cardama shakes her head. She says, no, there was definitely nothing that could have been eaten in here. It was all rotten.
Indeed.
Should we take it? Is this a sign from Theodora, perhaps?
Donovan kind of looks
Was
over.
anybody
Like,
hungry?
Not
It does
particularly.
look particularly appetizing. I'm gonna need everyone to give me a will save.
all right.
Yeah.
First roll of this game. Let's see it. Big money.
I mean, not first
Ooh.
roll, but first
First saving
danger
throw,
roll.
yeah. We're
Oh,
doing
nice.
Sorry.
Nice.
I'm gonna
Nice.
need a little guidance here.
So
Oh,
if you
kind of
open your sheet on the left side near the bottom, in the red like kind of banner, there are things under saves called Fortitude, Reflex, Will. You want to hit that Will one and hit the little dice under it where your +6 is,
Okay.
and we'll see what happens.
You got this. Yeah.
So yeah, the rest of
Nice.
you are kind of discussing like, I don't know if I trust this cupcake. Luthias, you really want to eat this fucking cupcake. It is the most delicious thing you have ever seen.
I picked the cupcake, the coffin up.
The cuffin.
Oh. Oh, devils. Oh, no.
Like you can hear it whispering to you. Eat
Ew, say that again.
me. Eat me.
Oh, God.
I need a break.
In a much more sultry tone than mine.
Ellie, yours was fine.
All right, see? There we go then.
It was perfect. Just do an auto right after that. Good to go.
What do you do,
Uh,
Luthias? Do you eat the cupcake?
Do you?
I take a bite out of the cupcake, unable to resist the temptation.
And it is a surprisingly good cupcake, and you find yourself wondering like,
I thought it was a muffin.
it's a cuffin.
Muffin. Okay.
And you're just like, this is the best cuffin I have ever eaten. And you feel strangely possessive of this cuffin. Like, there's
Oh,
only
God.
another 3 to 4 bites left, and you just feel like you definitely do not want to share this with anyone else.
I won't survive PvP if we get into it. I have a low AC. Yeah. If nobody's gonna stop me, I think I'll succumb to the will of this cuffin.
Uni will go ahead and see if she can grab the cupcake from him. Matthias, so in my experience, you don't want to eat the cupcake, or the coffin cake. Just put it in my tent pot. Okay?
So yeah, what I'll need you to do, Uni, is you're gonna roll athletics versus his reflex
Fair enough.
to see if you can, if he's too dexterous to get it away, or you manage to kind of, you know.
My DC is 13.
Yeah. I mean, I assume her athletics is probably, well, not with a 2.
Could I do a
So-
hero point?
You could
Do
if
it.
you, if you want.
Save me from myself.
I'm trying.
So yeah, at first he's kind of like, you're actually impressed because he doesn't really seem like the dexterous sort, and he's kind of like, you know, just moving the cupcake out of the way, and then you just kind of, in just one quick little snatching motion, just grab the cupcake out of his hand right when he was going in for another bite.
I immediately stuff it in the teapot. Here, we'll save it for later. And if it's okay, then you can eat it later.
And I'm gonna need you to give me another will save, Uni,
Oh no.
as you feel the delicious cuffin in your hand, and you know, it almost got to the teapot before you pause and you're just looking at it and you're like, damn, he's right, it really does look delicious. One little bite wouldn't hurt, would it? Just a nibble.
Right? It's really good.
She takes a bite. Oh, that is
And,
double
and
daddy.
it's amazing. Like, you are not sure you have ever tasted anything
Can I
quite
shoot
as
it out of her
good.
hand?
I think you'd probably accidentally shoot her, so we're not gonna do that.
Probably.
Do it.
It was just a suggestion.
I mean, you could try to swat it out of her hand, maybe. You know, if it's on the
'Cause
floor,
obviously
maybe no one will
touches
wanna. Maybe no one will wanna
Something
eat it.
bad. Okay, I'll attempt to do that.
And Luthias, give me another will save again as well, to see if out of your hands you have now resisted the majestic allure.
Oh,
You really
can see-
want that fucking cupcake back, and you are fucking mad that she took your
I
fucking
am about
cupcake.
to wrestle Uni to the ground, but my eyes are pleading with you, Dakota, to please stop us.
All right, and what
Yeah,
is
let's
the?
smack it out of the hand.
All right, roll me in athletics, and it'll be versus her reflex.
Ooh.
Her reflex is going to be a 15. She's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just kind of, you know. In fact, she beat your roll by so much, like that's like, she's kind of even
critical
doing
failure.
like tricks with it. If you've ever seen a Jackie Chan movie where he's got the gun and he's like dropping it and spinning
yeah.
it, and that's what she's doing to the cupcake to you. And you feel kind of
Hero
silly
point.
because you're trying to grab this cupcake and she's like holding it over here, and you reach for it and she drops it, and you're like, I didn't even know your other hand was down there to catch it. And yeah,
like, okay, with the full
Re-roll.
like.
and Luthias, you really want this cupcake too, so you know.
The body wants what the body wants.
Yeah, pretty much. It's she's Harlem Globetrottering you right now. Or like that guy with those ice cream cones that you see in the little meme where he keeps giving him the cone and not the ice cream cone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's basically doing that to you.
That's too good.
All right.
I like the idea of Dakota using hero points and then everyone uses hero points in this RP scene instead of combat.
I mean, go ahead and use your hero point and roll it again, Dakota, if you want to. And Luthias, what are you doing while she's trying to get the cupcake? Are you trying to sneak in? Are you going to flank poor Uni to get the cupcake?
Indeed.
Go for it. Yeah.
So athletics again?
Yep, athletics. It'll be versus her. Normal DC would be 15, but she's also being distracted by Luthias trying to get the cupcake from her now, too.
That's a little better.
You will actually... But Luthias, go ahead and roll me in athletics, too.
Can I try to intimidate Uni out of the cupcake?
Damn,
Uh,
I want to
sure,
intimidate him right back.
sure.
All right. All right.
Her, her, her will DC is going to be an 18. Yeah, she's not feeling intimidated at
I'm not
all.
very ferocious.
Like you're kind of staring at her. You're giving her the evil eye, and it's actually during that Dakota does manage to, because she's momentarily distracted, she slaps the cupcake out of her hand that goes flying and kind of splats in the corner between the wall and the table there. It's ruined.
Oh, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank you, Dakota.
Can I step on it?
You could. As soon as the
Okay,
cupcake
I'll
is
do that.
is basically out of Uni's hand though and splatted in that corner, um, the two of you start to feel immediately more normal. Like, why did I random cupcake and I just took a bite? What?
Curse.
Cursed cupcake.
Yeah.
Cuffin.
It was a good cupping.
And Dakota, as you guys are both looking at this murdered cupcake longingly, Dakota just walks over and just kind of finishes stomping it into the ground table there,
Mush.
while Kardama and Donovan just kind of look on like, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah. Donovan's just like, no, like, well, I mean, I suppose that when they say everything in a haunted house is dangerous, cupcakes do fall under everything.
Coffin cake.
The cuffin
It's
cake.
true.
Kind of rolls his eyes and then just steps back out of the room. Or is about to before the GM rolled something.
No, no, you're fine.
Okay. So, making sure
It's
that
only a
there's...
D4.
Yeah, it was a D5 before, so...
It's
he
counting
will...
down. No big deal.
Yeah, I've noticed. So, he kind of steps out and kind of heads back over to this door and peers into this room.
So that room, from what you can kind of see from the entryway, looks to be a ballroom. Um, kind of, the ballroom floor is basically, most of the boards that kind of make it up are kind of like, as you can see from the map, are broken. So you kind of have to watch your footing in there, but I mean, it seems sturdy enough. And then in the northern part of the room, there is a little stage with the curtains drawn open, and where you would probably have a band or, the like playing for the people in here. The other thing you notice, and you can't actually see it right here, but you can technically see through this fireplace here into the other room. But I think I don't have it marked as the right wall. I don't. So hold on a second. Oh, let's not do that. Let's re-wall it real quick so that we can do that. Building walls. Building walls. Nope, that's the wrong wall.
So you guys sleeping?
And now I'm...
Tristan.
There we go. We'll launch that there. And there we go. Now you should be able to see into that room. And yeah, they're just kind of in there. Esmeralda looks like she's just going through some of the crates and has kind of assembled a little pile of books on top of the desk. The guy's still just kind of playing with the deck of cards, though occasionally he pulls one out, flips it over, puts it on the table, though you can't see it from where you are, kind of just lets out a chuckle before shuffling it back into the deck.
And Donovan will kind of... Like, he's kind of pulled his sword out, not to attack, but he's just kind of prodding sections of the floor to make sure that that nothing is gonna fall out from under him before kind of moving around and inspecting the room.
Yeah, and even the broken ones still have like solid stonework underneath. It's just kind of the actual wooden floor itself that's sitting on top of the stones that are just kind of thrashed. I mean, you could certainly get your foot caught and trip, but you're not really in any danger of falling through anywhere.
Okay. And this is mostly just because he's seen that there is a downstairs, so he's like, yeah, I'd rather not end up tumbling down the floor. But he does notice there's a door towards the back and kind of calls out to Lucius and is like, can you bring your light over here? And then kind of makes his way back here.
And I'm going to need Luthius and Yuna to give me a fort save. The Cuffin fort save.
Oh, I thought we're done with that.
Oh, we ate it. We curse bitches now.
It'll be fine.
You said fort or will?
Fort.
Fort.
And Luthius, you start getting a little bit of a stomach ache. You were feeling a little nauseous.
Oh, you're gonna puke.
But
Rumbly
Uni,
in my
you
tumble.
feel fine. Like, whatever you've been eating has, prepared you for random muffin cupcakes in the middle of haunted houses.
There are probably worms inside of there.
So, Luthius, you have a number of things you could do here. You could suffer through it, or you know what the alternative is.
Yeah, needle darts.
That is certainly an option.
As an alternative to make myself throw up? Is that what you're getting at?
That is how you can remove the sickened condition. As per Raw, is you can force yourself to retch it up.
All right, let's try this.
Gross.
What do, what do I do for this?
I think you repeat the saving throw. Which means you could just dry heave, which might be worse.
All right.
I like how you have.
Right.
I don't know if it's you, but I think someone has Dakota targeted. I don't know if you were going to try to throw up on Dakota, and that's why
Yeah,
you're targeting
no,
her
please.
for AC. I'm not sure.
No,
All right, she
I
is
will
now.
throw up back on you. Guaranteed.
I assume he's the kind of distinguished gentleman who would be like, "Excuse me a moment," and then run off like he's about to poop his pants to barf in the hallway.
Yeah, just don't borrow my hat either.
Oh, no.
So it really is, just that dry heave where it's like you feel like you're starting to get it up, but it doesn't go completely. You're like, ugh, ugh. And the rest of you are just watching him kind of, heave.
Oh, yes, I could help you. Do you need help?
Sure.
Okay, all right. Are you ready? And Uni goes up to him. All right, I punch you in the gut.
Oh,
I'm gonna consider that an 8 action.
Yes.
Go ahead and re-roll me that save. We'll give you a +2 for gut punch because I think she's got strength. So, wow, you.
I have +3.
I mean, I will say with her assistance, you do manage to spew all over here. But it's strange in that you kind of are just mostly. Oh, that's even worse. If he rolled a nat 1, that would have been the thing. He throws it up, but immediately swallows it again.
Oh.
That's a nat 1 effect right there for sure. But no, you do manage to get it up. But it's weird in that all you basically kind of heave up is just this kind of weird, putrid, kind of pussy bile. But you don't really see any sign of said cupcake or anything that even looks like it came from the cupcake.
Oh no.
But
Guys, I punch you again.
All right, she's making sure you get it all out. And this time it's kind of like, like when you've thrown up everything there is to throw up, and you're just a more dry heaving with maybe some saliva, and it's just not good. But he seems to have gotten it out, and you feel much better. Luthias, as you know, you kind of wipe, a hand across your mouth, and
Gross.
pretty much.
Uni's,
All right,
Brr.
Uni's gonna
back to
put
business.
her hand on his back. Oh, you better now?
Donovan just kind of watching from the doorway he's at, just being like, I mean, if it helps, it helps.
cursed
the
cuffin.
kind of the cursed cuffin kind of looks to Luthias, make sure he's looking a little bit better, and then proceeds to open the door.
So that looks like a closet. You find a pile of what you assume are the clothes that maybe the actors or the musicians on the stage might have worn while performing. Though they're all, kind of moth eaten or just slightly disintegrate, rotting away as well. So nothing horribly interesting that you can see from the door, at least.
He'll kind of nods and steps in to take a cautious look around.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception. If you're taking a look in the room. Oh, dang. Look at this roll right here.
Mm.
So you look around. You even kind of take, the tip of your sword and kind of pop open some of these crates. And at one point, you do think you find, like, a nice piece of jewelry, but you quickly realize that it's kind of just, like, stage jewelry.
Yeah.
Like, it was put away neatly in a crate and kind of wrapped up in this bit of cloth, but it wasn't an actual, piece. So probably not worth much of anything, but it does look nice, at least.
He kind of looks it over, and will bring it out, because it's like it doesn't look to be of any value, but it's like, it's a small trinket if anyone wants it. So he'll kind of step back out after looking around and kind of move over and set it on the stage. And it's like, well, there's nothing of value but some stage jewelry, but if anyone wants it, and he'll kind of set it on the stage
Yeah, and
to
I mean
let the others look over.
it does look nice. It's kind of got like kind of like some interwoven like kind of vine ivy design. Um and it it looks nice, but it's not made of gold, silver, or any actual precious material. Probably just really like buffed out brass or the like maybe. So it looks shiny, but it's not worth a whole lot.
Yeah, and it kind of just lets everyone else kind of look it over to see if anyone wants it.
Out of character, I feel like I don't want to touch anything else in this house.
Yeah, same.
What? You
In
guys
character,
Okay.
I'm still sick, so I'm like, no, I don't want to touch.
Kardama is curious as she steps closer to take a closer look at it.
Yeah, nothing bad happens. Just seems to be a piece of stage jewelry. You don't sense any malevolent intent or anything from it.
Except from the Kufkin.
Since no one else seems interested, Kardama pockets it, thinking it might come in handy later.
All right, yeah. So
Yeah.
you probably have to do a custom item for it. It's basically just you can just name it like stage jewelry or something. In fact, I'll throw something in your inventory for it.
Okay.
In fact, we probably have like some sort of necklace we can use as a base. Definitely not a necklace of fireballs.
That would be funny though.
That would be.
Yeah.
We'll
But
make the
yeah.
custom action there. Oh, I should probably ask too because we didn't actually cover it. But so I don't always use it either. A lot of times because sometimes I forget. But Pathfinder does have like your exploration activity that you can take. Like for example, like Kardama might be like just kind of actively sneaking around. Not necessarily trying to hide her souls from you guys, but just trying to stay out of sight of anything else. Or Luthias might be passively just detecting magic as you guys go. Stuff like that. Um,
I am in the party sheet.
okay, so yeah, see, Luke already is already on top of his exploration activity. But yeah, so it's just stuff like that. If you have something your character's doing, and they pretty much do have kind of equivalents for anything you could think of. If you're just kind of looking around as you go and just doing general searching, that's something you can be doing. Detecting
Okay.
magic, stealthing, scouting, stuff like that.
How would I do that?
So what you would do is you open your sheet and you go to the little actions tab. And from there, you will find things. I think they're under actions, right?
I had to
Uh,
add it specifically.
They do exist, and maybe they're under free actions.
No. So you have to. So you click on the Actions tab, click on Exploration, and then you have to do Browse to add them in to
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
actions
yeah.
you can
You add
do.
them to the exploration tab. That's right. Because, yeah, I noticed, Cardama, you actually have a bunch already in your explorations tab if you switch it over.
Oh,
Affix
okay,
a
yeah.
talisman, avoid notice. Like, you'd probably want to avoid notice, given, you're a rogue, so you're probably. You can just click the active one for avoid notice if you
Oh,
want.
just go active.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can just kind of toggle on what you're doing, because it's just, what your general place in the party is. So he's detecting magic. I assume you're probably stealthing. Dakota and Uni, both of you guys have really good perception, so I wouldn't be surprised if you're kind of just searching. Um, stuff like that.
definitely searching and also looking at Tristan
Yes.
across the way. He gives me vibes. There's something about them.
So yeah, he's like again, he's been kind of just been repeating the same action. Um, and Uni, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay. Work. It's saying there's no active encounter, so it's not letting me do a perception.
I think you might
Oh,
be
that's
rolling
initiative.
initiative. Yeah, use the one on top of it.
On top of it. Aha.
So yeah, you notice he's kind of repeating the action. He'll shuffle the cards, he'll pull one out, he flips it over, throws it on the table, and it's the death card. You can only make out part of the card. Um, kind of shuffles the cards again, um, pulls out another card, flips it over, throws it on the table. It's the death card again.
Hmm.
And Esmeralda's just kind of watching him do this. And she says, "It's not supposed to do that, is it?" And he just kind of shakes his head. Um, and you notice that he takes the pile of cards and he actually flips it over in his hand. And the card on the bottom isn't the death card. In fact, he kind of spreads the cards out, and you see like the full array of Taroka cards in his hands. And he flips them over, shuffles them again, takes the top card and throws it on the table, and it's the death card again.
That's a very good sign.
Very positive.
Death does not always mean the end. It means sometimes rebirth. Either that or he's going to die a lot.
I like to call it New Game Plus.
Uh,
That's where Eunice is like, yep, we are definitely in a cursed place. So, what are we up to next, Donovan?
There's a door over here. He kind of looks back at Luthias and will be like, it kind of reaches into his pack and pulls out a torch for himself to have another light source, and then kind of will step through the door to see what's down this way.
Yeah, and you step into another hallway. Bunch of doors again. You can kind of assume that this door down here is likely back into the parlor room. But then you have a door here, the door you're next to, the door there, and another door at the end. So you have a number of options here.
He'll do the door right next to him first.
All right, so that opens up into a conservatory. The walls in this room are basically just kind of large broken sheets of glass with kind of, like lattice work of wood in between. And you can see the rain and the fog and everything outside. Most of the plant life in here kind of looks dead, though there are a couple of plants that still seem to be hanging on, as well as some rusted gardening tools and a couple of pots of what look like soil of some kind.
I'm feeling green. It's oh, sorry. So can you need to do a perception to see if there's any plants that look like they might be tea plants?
You can give me a perception, yeah.
Okay. The cupcake was cursed.
Nothing that looks like tea as far as you can tell, but there is one plant kind of up here that is still alive. And actually seems to be kind of flourishing in that it's kind of grown to take over most of kind of the windowed side of the wall with its vines and other stuff.
I nudged Donovan. Make him get in the room.
He kind of nods and moves further, kind of keeping the table between him and the plant.
I mean, it's not moving or anything, but anyone trained in nature that wants to get a little closer to try to identify it, you certainly can try.
Chaz, you got a torch out, right?
I do.
Fire against plant.
I mean, if you want to
True.
burn the house down, I guess that's one way to. It's one way to do it.
14.
You're sure you've seen this plant before, but the name is kind of eluding you. Anyone else got nature?
Not trained.
Yeah, not trained.
Not trained.
Well, it's
I
unfortunate.
we can all roll and see how high we get.
Well, you know what? I'll allow it.
So we're all rolling.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
If
mean,
you haven't
see?
rolled, see how you do.
Yeah.
See how you do.
How do I do that again?
So just yeah, someone can explain it.
Yeah, proficiencies tab, which is the little hand, and then you just go to nature and click the little dice. This is assuming you have your character sheet opened up.
Yeah.
Oh, just the little dice next to nature.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. So Donovan and Luthias, you do have to get a little closer. I'm gonna move you guys over here. Kind of looking at the plant, kind of picking up the little vine bits, and you kind of both come to a similar conclusion at the same time. It is a belladonna plant. And the reason you know it's because it has these little fat black berries that are growing off the vines.
That sounds poisonous.
You would be
Donovan
correct.
nod. It's like, I'm not a ranger or a druid, but I've had enough experience traveling to know that this is not a plant you trifle with.
Someone's taking care of it. Who's taking care of it? And is the coffin cake filled with belladonna?
Not as far as you could tell when you ate it, but who knows?
Sauce.
I will say, with the perception checks you guys did earlier, you do get the impression that no one has been in this room in a very long time. There's kind of just the thin layer of dust, dirt, and debris on the floor with no signs of anyone having moved through here until you guys moved through here.
Is taking care of the plant. Okay, got it.
Do you want to eat the plant?
Interesting. No.
No, Donovan doesn't
Yeah,
like
please now.
given what happened with the coffin cake. He doesn't even attempt to pick the berries. He's just like, I know what it is, and it's not something we need to mess with. So, all right, time to go.
Dakota, do you want to eat the plant? She's considering it. She hasn't said no yet, so.
Come in front of me. That way you can shoot whatever is in front of us. Dakota?
I actually think she might have muted herself again. Or she ran AFK a moment.
I'm back, sorry.
Do you want to eat the plant?
No,
Alright, just making sure. Calm down. You've got to get.
that should be it. Normal. No, God.
Look. I like to give people options, okay?
Yeah, right.
Door.
I think Kardama's going to eat the plant.
No,
Oh, alright. I stand corrected.
just looking around.
You sound so disappointed.
Yes.
No. I would never try to steer you guys wrong.
What does Uni see in that room?
That looks to be a sitting room. Nice little fireplace, unlit, of course. Kind of moldy, sagging couch there with a number of tears and mold and the like growing off it. Got a little like end desk here. Nothing really interesting on it either. Something that looks similar to an ashtray. You know, a nice little I forget what they're called. The little things that they used to carry the candle in around.
Candelabra.
Candelabra?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, like a smaller one, you know, it's not like a huge fancy one.
So, just in case, Uni's like, looks at the couch and eyes it, and she's like, thrust it, and grabs out her, what looks like, can't do that. Basically, like, kind of grabs out her, what is it called? It has a
Ranseur.
Ranseur, and immediately stabs the couch.
Oh, yeah, so you pull it out, stab the couch. All the rest of the people are probably watching you in confusion. The couch doesn't really look that much more beat up after you stab it than it did before you stabbed it, so, you know, this couch is in bad shape already, so a couple more puncture wounds probably aren't gonna hinder it too
Looking
much.
for a mimic?
Kardama
Recently?
gets it.
The joke's on you. The entire house is the mimic.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Get out.
Coffin cakes. Okay, not a mimic.
As Dakota charges down the hallway, she finds more doors.
Steps carefully.
Charges down the hallway, making a ton of noise.
Well, I'm wearing cowboy boots.
That is
Respect.
true. They have spurs and they're making the little clicky noises. And that leads
Actually-
back into the parlor.
Yeah. Before he leaves the
Understood.
room, Donovan checks this fireplace with his sword to see if there's like if it's like the other room.
It
If you
does.
can,
It goes all the way through as well. Though the other room is dark, you could kind of get down there and hold the torch out to maybe see a little bit.
he'll try and do that.
All right. So what I'm gonna do to make it easier, I'm gonna pop you through the wall for a second, and then
Okay.
move you back.
She winks and tips her head at Tristan before she leaves.
He just kind of nods and holds up the death guard.
Of course. How romantic.
Yeah. I'll kind of, yeah, I'll kind of peek into the room, kind of look around, see that's kind of a bigger sitting room, and then kind of pop out. There's like, kind of, not that, kind of, there we go. Kind of nods to that door. It's like, it's another sitting room. There's another connected fireplace.
Yeah, Dakota, and you can see it. This seems to be probably like the main sitting room. Another large couch, but also a bunch of what looked to be, just kind of these plush chairs that at one point looked like they were pretty darn comfortable. Though at this point, you'd probably catch a disease if you sat in one, so.
How many freaking sitting rooms do they need?
When you're rich, you need 17 bathrooms, okay?
Of course.
Though you haven't found any bathrooms yet, so that's something.
Okay. Uni goes to stab the furniture.
Alright, she goes through and you watch as she stabs all of the furniture. Though nothing really comes of it. You get the feeling she might have some pent up, just, aggressive tendencies that maybe she doesn't get to act on when she's murdering
Thought she
children.
doesn't to stab anybody else.
Yes, I'm projecting the children onto the furniture. Oh, God. Let's see. All right. No mimics. We're good.
No
Of course,
mimics.
there's a bear up there. I don't trust that one. But if it's not eating us, we good.
Yeah, the bear head actually looks much like the furniture. It's kind of, it is preserved, but if you don't take care of it, like the whole, kind of fur and not on one side of the head is kind of just sagging down and kind of pulling away, like partially covering up the eyeball and kind of leaving the mouth open, and like it looks like a half snarl on one side. But I mean, it's not moving. Or is it?
Is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Guys are making some progress around the house. You have a nice, lovely room to the south, and then a room to the east that you guys should realize is the foyer over there. So,
Right.
What did you call that thing in the foyer? The Pepiton or something?
Periton.
Periton.
I don't know what that is.
It's a kind of a eaglish bird with antlers.
Yep. If you combine
Oh,
a deer with a wolf with a eagle, yeah, kind of what you get. I guess a stag
alright.
instead of just a regular deer. But
Is
yeah.
that like from our mythology in real life, or is that just like a D&D monster?
I'm pretty sure it's from actual mythology as well. Yeah.
All right.
Though I'm not sure exactly which one. I'm sure some Google foo would turn up the answer if you're curious.
Yeah. Donovan will take a peek into this room.
So that room looks to be some sort of gallery. There are a number of these kind of moody landscapes that are painted on these large canvases on the wall that are still surprisingly well preserved. In addition to that, there are these kind of, I don't want to use the term bust, but I guess that's the closest they are. But the busts are all just like skulls with subtle differences that are on these black marble pedestals that just kind of look like they've kind of collected some dust in here. And then on the east side of the room in that alcove there is a larger than life onyx statue of a what you assume to be some sort of athlete wrestling this giant monstrous disembodied tentacle.
Makes me hungry again. Calamari?
Donovan Donovan raises an eyebrow.
You don't like calamari?
And I'm not entirely familiar with the term.
Oh. Like, Uni actually goes up to you and just pats you on the armor and on the back. So sad. So sad. We take you to nice dinner afterwards, I promise.
Kind of nods. Kind of looks around, sees if there's anything of note or interest.
All right, yeah, give me.
I mean, other than the art.
Yeah, give me some perception checks as you guys are kind of checking out this room.
He's so in private for that
Nice.
for some reason.
All right, so I mean, it's private or not, it's fine. There's enough of you guys rolling. So Donovan, you just get the feeling that there's something not quite right about the statue. And Kardama, you're already kind of over there, like kind of getting up on your tippy toes to try to get a better look at this statue, and you kind of give it like a little rapping knock with your knuckles, and it kind of just lets off that sound that gives you the impression that this statue is hollow. And getting even closer still, the both of you realize that the little athlete guy, the figure, his eyes are hollow, and you can kind of reach in there or even kind of look, but not really get a good look at the inside.
Donovan will try and get a good look, but when he can't, he will begrudgingly reach in.
All right, yeah, and the eye holes really aren't big enough to slip your hand into, at least not armored. Kardama might be able to fare a little better if she wants to try.
Kardama relays the information that's hollow to everyone else, and she does attempt to.
All right, roll
reach
me a thievery check. Just to see how, you're not trying to steal anything, but just see how dexterous you are about. And yeah, you, without even, I don't know, I don't necessarily know that Kardama would ask him. I feel like you probably just like climb partially onto Donovan to get up high enough to like reach your arm into this thing's eye socket. And you're kind of feeling around and you're getting ready to pull your arm back when you grab hold of a small piece of parchment. And when you pull your hand back out, there is a bit of text on it, and it says, "Shadowed fingers, eyes like glass, beware the below." And then it has some names, or at least a partial name, L. Dolan.
After reading the parchment, she gets down and hands it to Donovan to take a look at it.
Donovan will take a look at it, kind of squints his eyes, and tries to think if there's anything religious in nature that might fit those terms.
If anyone is trained in crafting or society, give me a roll.
Ooh, crafting. I'll take it.
I am as well. So,
Damn, you guys are
do
what is
Same.
up with these rolls right now? Dang, 3 nat 20s.
you want me to try rolling for crafting anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
go at it. You may as well roll, but yeah, those are you guys are. I almost thought that was gonna roll from the 14 to another 20.
I know.
I have
Um,
nothing in crafting or society.
so it kind of comes to you both, though it comes to Donovan a bit quicker. Um, it's a crafter's marker that likely the original sculptor of the statue left inside of it. And that's likely the name of the art piece.
Hmm. Kind of looks at the art piece one more time to kind of get more of a look at it. Um, but yeah, it's like he kind of gets that that's where it's coming from, but he's still trying to puzzle out like why why it was named as such.
It's art,
But
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He kind of just he eventually comes to that. Like if there's nothing that else that comes to him, like oh this was based on like some sort of story or monster, then he eventually just kind of hands it back and kind of nods and it's like, well, this is interesting, but I suppose that we do need to continue on. And he kind of, kind of nod, kind of move to leave, um, da, 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 and kind of like circle back here, um, and then kind of notices for the first time that there's a door back here that kind of goes into that area, and he's kind of cocks his head at that.
All right, yeah. So he heads out. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Donovan. Donovan.
All right, go ahead and follow Donovan out of the room if you guys are good in there.
Did
Yep.
he give me back the parchment?
Yeah, I gave back the parchment.
Okay.
Donovan is getting ready
I
to make a startling discovery.
roll up the parchment and slip it back into the statue and follow them out.
All right. It's a closet.
Yeah,
I was gonna say coat closet.
It is indeed
yeah.
a coat closet.
He sort of figured, but he's like, interesting. Because it's like
Take my
right behind
coat
that
off.
statue. So he does kind of like knowing that it's so close to the statue. He does kind of inspect the area right against where the statue would be, just to make sure there's nothing like extra in the coat closet. But if he doesn't find anything, he'll kind of move on.
Yeah, nothing too interesting in there.
Okay.
So are we done? Are we done down here? Out of character, I think we are.
No, there's
No,
still this
you
door over
still have
here.
there's still like a nice little chunk in the bottom right corner here.
Ew.
Yeah, he'll kind of move
Uni
over to the door and yeah. Oh,
starts
sorry,
playing
go
with the
ahead.
statue. Like, let's see if it has a lever or something.
All right, so Uni starts climbing all over the statue. No lever or anything. It's pretty well made though, since you're kind of hanging off an antler and off the ground, and no, doesn't give, doesn't shift, doesn't even make any noise. Just kind of keeps you suspended there.
Dirty. Hops off of it and jumps down.
Uh, yeah. Donovan kind of watches, just kind of just curious if she'll find anything. But yeah, when she doesn't and hops back down, he'll move to open the door and step in.
And you find yet another sitting room, though there is another room attached to it. And this one at least
Yeah.
does have some kind of interesting things here. There's a number of like little knickknacks and other things that are kind of put out on display around here. You're not really sure what purpose they serve. They don't really match any description for any kind of occult objects or other things you've seen. They almost just seem like they're just like little random trinkets. And then there's another one of those skull busts in there as well. Though this one is made of a white marble, not black marble.
And Donovan will kind of regard the bust, you know, to see if there's anything different about it other than its coloring.
I mean, as far as you can tell, yeah, just the color. It is
Okay.
well
Yeah,
made,
so
just
no,
like the other ones, but yeah, no. Some of the
no
few
crafting check
items.
to see.
Yeah, you can do a crafting check if you want, just a general purpose one. But one of the few or some of the few items, I guess you could say in here that hasn't succumbed to, just time.
Yeah, and that's enough to kind of catch his interest. So, and assuming Uni is gonna go stab the furniture.
I mean, at this point, I think that's like her MO.
Kardama is looking over the trinkets, just seeing if any of them
Yeah, I mean,
hold value.
there's like a couple of like rolled up scrolls, but those look kind of fragile. Like if you were to touch one, it might crumble. Um, there's what looks like a small bell that's kind of corroded and a little rusty, maybe. It really is. It's just like an odd assortment of objects. Um, Not even really like following a set theme, but you get the feeling it was likely some sort of collection, even without a role. And there's just whoever, based on everything else you've seen, that whoever lived here before was kind of a bit of a collector of oddities, not necessarily oddities that have any real purpose, but just oddities.
Oddities.
Very nice. Yeah, and kind of like Donovan's like kind of doing like a mapping out the thing. It's like, oh, this is the last door other than the one that leads downstairs. And you kind of just cautiously like, it's been that kind of thing. Is like if you say that there hasn't been too much danger out loud, then you're inviting it, sort of thing. So he hasn't said it out loud, but just the more that's revealed and the less, the least amount, no danger. He's kind of like, this has been, no, not as deadly as he would have thought it would have been at this point. So kind of cautiously opens the door.
Yep. Then Luke, I sent you a DM on Discord to check. And yeah, that looks to be a music room. Overstuffed furniture, um, that's kind of all around this main central piece here, which is this really, really nice full-size concert harp. That actually, like, the stuff that's kind of carved into it looks like a flock of doves kind of coming out of the harp itself.
Interesting.
Uni stabs the furniture again.
Yep.
She goes to stab the furniture. Kardama's like, this is a nice harp.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want to touch the harp? I mean, it can't possibly be cursed, right?
uh,
I'm
what?
avoiding touching anything.
Yeah.
Hey,
Donovan has never been blessed with a musical bone in his body.
that the statue in the foyer.
Yeah.
There's something not right with it. I can just tell. It's like eyes are following me as I move.
But we need beer.
Kardama, do you want to touch the harp? It looks pretty nice.
Kardama does touch the harp.
All right, so you touch the harp. Give me a will save. It's a nice harp.
So the will one, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you touch the harp and you feel like this strange, um, almost overwhelming kind of sense wash over you. You really want to play this harp, and you kind of swing down around onto the stool beside it, and you actually start to play said harp. You're not sure where the song you're playing even comes from. You've never heard it before. I'm not even sure your character knows how to play music, but you begin to play this song.
Ooh, that's
Is it
unbeatable.
affecting?
Sorry.
Is it affecting the rest of us?
No, you just see her kind of sit down silently and start playing this harp. I mean,
Have
it's
we even introduced to each other?
no, you have not. That makes it even funnier, though.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, lady, knock it off.
And it's almost like she doesn't hear you. She just kind of keeps playing until the song ends.
Does she play something else?
Nope,
Or
she's playing what's playing right now. And it's actually impressive how fast her fingers are moving to play this song.
Can I use occultism to see if there's a reason for this, like some type of effect she's under?
You can.
Yep.
Boo.
Your rolls like are something tonight.
The kids say they are mid.
And as the song comes to a close, Kardama, you kind of snap back to where you are, but you have no real memory of like the last minute or two. And you look at your fingers, and you've kind of cut yourself on a few places, and you're kind of dripping a bit of blood from some of your fingertips, but they're not horrific wounds or anything. And you just kind of snap back, and everyone's staring at you, and
how long have you been playing the harp?
She looks at her confused. I don't know how to play the harp.
You were just playing a second ago.
She looks around confused.
And Luthias, that harp is definitely radiating some magic.
I'd step away from it. If I were you.
Poor Dakota's traumatized by everything.
Yes.
Lights.
Cardano moves to the corner away from the harp.
I don't like this place.
Not at all.
Sad, you guys have
I'm
done-
Dakota, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
We should
there you
probably
go.
introduce each other. Before we get one of ourselves killed.
That's good idea. I'm Luthias. I specialize in the occult and fear of vampires.
You specialize in the fear of vampires.
I've not met anybody more afraid than myself.
Good to know.
All right,
we
Luke,
getting fighting?
Luke, you get a bonus hero point next session just for the greatest
What?
introduction I've heard in a while.
Donovan nods. Was like, Donovan, warrior and champion of a dead god.
Paradama has pulled out a handkerchief of sorts and is holding it to her bloody fingers to clean up the blood. I'm Kardama. and she doesn't clarify any further.
Nice.
I'm Yumi. Yes, yes. Yes. Nice to meet you all.
What was that?
It's a nice to meet you all.
Oh, nice to meet you all. Okay.
So, seriously, that statue thing, the eagle, it moves when I move in the room.
Donovan nods.
Shall we
he's
go look at it?
Yeah, so we've cleared the first floor, so we might as well investigate that.
Not the
Go back
statue.
in. I watch its eyes, trying to see if I can get it to move.
As far as all of you can tell, the statue just kind of stares at the front door, which has been left open.
It's fucking ghost gaslighting me.
Maybe.
I want to shut the door.
All right, yeah, click the door. You can shut them.
I'll
Keep
give
the-
it one.
It must
Thank
like
you.
you. I was crawling all over it and
Wouldn't
it
let me.
did nothing. Let's see. Let's see. So, actually, Uni's gonna move behind Lathias and from behind his shoulder, if the eyes of the statue follows.
Here. Move as I move, and I'll move slowly so she can mimic my moves, and we're gonna move to the right.
Okay, and so she holds you by the waist so that she can do it. All right, let's go.
Like a weird backwards dance.
As you guys do a waltz through the foyer. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to be looking at you.
Goddamn.
It knows I'm here.
You know,
Donovan will kind of.
Were it not made
Oh.
from brass or whatever it's made from, it does look pretty lifelike though. You know, he is sick. He had that cupcake.
I could be going crazy. I don't know.
All of the
Donovan
above.
will. Yeah, Donovan will tap it with his sword to see what happens.
Lets out a nice metallic ting.
You know, it's like, it kind of looks to Lathias. It's like, you stay here, and it kind of waves for Kardama and Dakota to move back over into this room.
The statue does
And then-
radiate some faint magic, but it's not strong. In fact, it's even less than the harp.
Alrighty.
So
And then he'll kind of like look to Uni as like, it's like, if it keeps on continuing to not move, come here, and then he'll kind of step out as well, and then kind of let Uni and Luthias do their kind of mimicking movements to see if it reacts with just those two in the room, but with Uni essentially hiding behind Luthias.
yeah, so you guys leave the room, and you know the three of you are kind of watching from outside while they're ballroom dancing in there. The statue doesn't really seem to do much.
Right. And he'll wave Uni out at that point.
Even you, Union, you're probably, I imagine, like keeping a watch on this thing like a hawk. Doesn't really do anything.
I believe you, Lathias. I do. But here, I step out just in case.
Yeah, so she steps out, and you're kind of left alone, and you feel slightly unnerved by the statue given its size and everything else, but still doesn't really seem to respond.
He kind of, Donovan will kind of pause and then try and shut the door most of the way.
Dang, you guys are ghost adventuring Aaron and we'll lock you in there. So you're kind of in there, and you see Donovan kind of slowly closing the door. And you probably don't feel great about that. Um,
Yeah. Like, it's like he's trying to leave it like just like not fully closing it, but just leaving it cracked just enough.
yeah, so
So
as you're in there and they're kind of, watching from the outside, there is a crack of thunder, and your torch goes out, Luthias. And you hear something moving in the room as you hear all of the doors snapping shut.
And locking?
This is fine. I'm only afraid of being buried alive.
question: is there an athletics thing to because he's like he has a hand on the handle, sort of like right there. So like if he feels it starting to try and slam shut, can he try and stop it from like fully closing?
Realistically, at this level, there's no chance of you stopping it.
Okay. All
So
right.
I think it's a
I
crit
figured I'd
failure
try.
regardless, yeah. So it kind of
All
like
right.
it actually lurches you forward, probably against the door as it slams shut.
Okay.
There is one path open to you, though.
To the closet I go.
And Luthias dives into the closet. You want to just leave the door open? He closes the door. And even you guys on the other side of the wall here hear something large. Sounds like it has hooves kind of moving around the room.
So bad. Fuck, I knew it. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Yeah. Donovan's kind of like lets out a curse in Dwarvish,
You
and
hear whatever it is stop in front of the door that you are hiding behind, Luthias. And you see the door handle, or rather, you hear it start to rattle. And then open. What are you guys doing back here?
Investigating the case of the missing coats. I yell out to the group,
Sure.
It's just Tristan.
I see. Knock,
Kind
knock,
of.
knock. The door actually locks from the side you're on, so you can, in fact, open it.
Oh, he unlocks it and goes like he kind of pointedly looks down at Tristan's feet.
He does not have hooves.
Yeah, he sighs like we've scouted the first floor, outside of some unfortunate minor magic. We have not found any ghosts or spirits, though we did find a stairway going downstairs.
I see. And then you decided to play hide and seek.
He,
It's been a
he
long day
shakes his head.
for all of us.
He starts walking away. He's like he just kind of he like just sighs. It's like,
Oh,
well,
if you finished your exploration, I'm sure Esmeralda wants to know. I assume you
you
weren't
know,
actually hiding in the closet. I heard something storming around in here, and it doesn't seem to have been you all.
Just make a gesture to the big antler statue thing. I'm just not saying anything, but it's obvious. Like, the thing with hooves is the thing that sounds like hooves.
You do also notice there are hoof prints kind of around in some of the dust, also intermingled with your own footprints as you guys came through this room.
He notes that and he's like, kind of just looks at the statue, but will nod and start to head back towards the main foyer.
Yeah, I don't really much care for haunted houses myself.
Bias, I think it likes you.
Cordama follows, taking a close look at the statue as she passes it.
Yeah, doesn't move, doesn't do much, but it does grab Dakota as she goes by, and the door slams again. No,
Oh,
I'm just
man.
kidding. I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen.
Okay, geez. You know, I realized that I don't like horror that much.
What do you mean? We haven't even gotten to the horror yet.
Yeah, I know. That's the point.
This is just funhouse stuff.
This is Babby's first funhouse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be last anymore.
I mean, you know. And Esmeralda kind of turns around from the stack of books that she was separating out into piles. So what did you guys find out?
That this whoever lived in this house had either did not like sitting in one room for long or entertained plenty of guests, and that there's some foul magic here, but no spirits on the first floor, other than the statue out front.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things to report? Any strange oddities in any of the rooms?
Nothing weird in the kitchen whatsoever.
Donovan looks over. It's like, other than the cupcake that appeared,
The
like the coffin. Sorry.
I mean, I assume none of you ate the cupcake.
Well, we didn't eat the belladonna.
So you did eat the cupcake?
Delicious.
Hypothetically, if somebody were to eat the cupcake, what would be the consequences?
I don't know. I just assumed that the state of
It's
the
probably-
house that said cupcake would be less than appetizing, likely rotting, and or made from some sort of spirit ectoplasmic residue of some kind.
Yeah.
Right? Eating worms.
But you guys will be fine. It's not like you ate the cupcake. I assume you guys took the cupcake and threw it, or maybe you just left it alone.
It definitely
Yes.
got thrown
And smashed.
and smashed. Yes. And we found a room with belladonna. The Periton statue out front is most definitely haunted, though it is rather shy. And the harp in the music room is also haunted, but outside of being magic and possibly cursed, it's not that we have not encountered any actual force that wishes to attack us.
And she nods, and then Tristan kind of chimes in. They definitely ate the cupcake.
Not cool, man. Not cool. Why you ratting
No
us out?
comment.
So, well, you're alive at least, so there is that.
He nods. It kind of looks to Matthias and Uni. And he nods. Like, we did find some stairs leading down, but given that we were told to stay on the first floor, we have not gone up or down quite yet.
Oh, yes. I would actually suggest avoiding the basement entirely for now. I did my own preemptive scouting before, and whatever's down there seems far more powerful than the stuff on the first or second floor at least. I haven't yet had a chance to go up to the third floor yet.
Well, that is good to know. Kind of raises an eyebrow suspiciously, but it's like, so at this point, if we're not going to investigate the second floor this evening, uh, then I suggest we find. He kind of looks to Uni. A couch that is in somewhat good condition still, and possibly rest.
So that would probably be good. I'd honestly suggest we all stay together in here, but I'm not sure you guys have traveling supplies on you, and well, just try to stay mostly together. I think.
Are you saying you don't think we have traveling
Well,
supplies?
I
Well,
don't I don't know what you guys actually brought. For some of you
I
guys, like I said, it was supposed to be like a 20-minute walk to meet someone before you went back home.
that's a fair assumption then.
We should stay in this room.
But some of you that are perhaps more cautious may have actually brought other stuff. You don't want to be buried alive without your backpack.
right. Yeah,
So it's kind of up to you. If
Donovan's
you feel
always
like your
prepared.
character would have brought the stuff, then that is a reasonable assumption to make.
Yeah, yeah. Donovan is constantly traveling, so yeah, he would have his stuff on him, and he doesn't mind giving a bedroll to someone, his bedroll to someone who doesn't perhaps have one.
Yeah, so Esmeralda does suggest that everyone, potentially just camps out in here. It is a rather large room. Plenty of space for people to sprawl out wherever they like. She'll eventually kind of just probably go down and lay amongst all of her stuff. Tristan will probably just sit in the chair for a long time, shuffling cards. And just, creepily, silently watching people.
Uni's gonna ask, can I play with your cards?
And he'll give them another shuffle and he'll put them on the table.
Okay. So here's what happened. I will take 5, and you'll take 5. And we'll play Go Fish.
Who?
Go Fish?
Goldfish?
Close enough.
That was worse.
Kardama will move to a corner kind of close to the fire and just sit up, leaning back against the wall, as if to rest just like that for the night.
Yep. And Tristan will try to play Goldfish with Yuna without having any idea what that means.
Dakota will stay in this corner.
Alright, so yeah, you're over there with Esmeralda and her pile of stuff.
Hope she doesn't mind.
She doesn't seem to care. She's constructed a blanket and pillow fort off the table into the corner over there. Alright, not really, but she should have. Alright, and that is where we'll pause for tonight. We didn't get to the fight because the dice didn't go that way. But, the dice do what the dice want.
I tried to
they
get it to
do.
happen.
Yep.
I really thought we were gonna fight the statue for a minute.
I mean, in this adventure, like everything that happens in a room is on chance. The chance goes up the more time you spend in the house, but it's the first day, so
Right.
I still think, even though we didn't get to do an actual combat this time, Kardama at least got to see like saving throw rolls, contested rolls, how exploration and whatnot works. So it was still a productive session. So when we pick up next week, we'll pick up in the following morning, and we will go from there.
All right.
You guys did
That's
good. No
right,
one's
that's right.
dead. You guys played the harp and ate
Yep.
the cupcake. I'm proud of you guys.
We did it. We survived the cupcake or cuffin cake or cuffin.
If I was hid in a closet, I was getting phasmophobia vibes.
Yeah.
Let me hide in the
Yes.
closet because there's something out there.
Yeah,
Oh.
the ghost is hunting.
Yeah,
Right.
it's in hunting mode. I gotta hide in this locker.
Living constructs, I don't know, count as phantasmal beings, but still.
I mean, if a ghost is possessing a construct, then probably.
Yeah. I was not a fan of being separated from everybody all by myself with my AC of 14.
You're fine.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Nice to meet you all, and I'll see you next week.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice to meet you all.
Have a good night, guys.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
In this stream, thank you to whoever was in here. Chat room was surprisingly busy, and they gave us some ideas for if you fail the sickness thing where you barf and then swallow it again. Disgusting, but I approve.
Right.
Of course you do.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna
All right.
we're gonna raid out or just gonna end it.
Oh yeah, I guess we could. We have like 7 people in here. Who else is streaming?
Yeah.
Is anyone else streaming Pathfinder right now?
Let me check.
I might hang out and see what they're doing.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, I think I hit 50 followers too, huh?
Yes, you did.
I saw it. I saw it pop up. It yelled at me, and I was like, "Why are you yelling at me, bro?"
Let's see. There's a. Oh, that's not it. Come on. Pathfinder.
Looks like there's one other game that I'm seeing. They have 1 viewer. We can just raid them, I think.
Okay. Is that the Rise of the Rune Lords one?
I think so. I'll jump in there and see what's going on. Gotta ready up. I gotta get my raptor heads ready.
He's a short, stocky man of
Oh, I thought it
Ulfin.
was a made up NPC on the spot. I didn't know he was
Nah,
an actual NPC.
he's a
Sorry, go
short.
ahead.
He's
Hilarious.
There we go.
You cut out there. What was that?
I was saying to Anima that they were awesome for the comments that they were making. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
They do not look happy.
We got a raid. Thanks for the raid. Oh, we got a raid with a party of 7 as well.
Oh, did it already?
Yeah.
Did it? Did
Yeah.
it raid?
Yep. We're over there.
Thank you for the bid.
Oh, okay. Maybe because I was tabbed out, but it still shows you as live.
Oh yeah, I need to end my thing, but yeah, it switched over.